Music by Ellie Goulding. That is from her forthcoming album Delirium. That track is called On My Mind. It is just about 5 past the hour on this Wednesday morning. It's October 7th, and you're listening to The Jolt on SiriusXM LQ. I'm Larry Flick. Still ahead today, we're going to be joined by Maura Tierney to talk about the second season of the Showtime show The Affair, just premiered this past Sunday. It is such addictive television. Also, our new family member, Jenna Wolfe, will be stopping by. Her show on SiriusXM's Today Show channel will be starting this week, and we'll be looking forward to finally meeting her. I'm a big fan from back when she was a local sportscaster. And make a note that on Friday, Hugh Jackman will be here, and tomorrow, Tony Goldwyn from Scandal. So we're having a good week, having a great week. In fact, it gets a little bit better every minute, especially when an old member of the family comes home. Andrea Donsky from NaturallySavvy.com. She's back.
Hello.
How are you, darling? What's going on?
I'm doing great. It's so great to be here. I love you guys, and I'm so happy to be back in New York. And like you said, family.
Yeah. So what? Well, you always come with a pile of stuff, which is always nice to see. But what's happening with you? What's happening at Naturally Savvy?
Things are great. Plowing along, trying to educate people on how to live healthier, which I do have to say, you guys look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing. I haven't been here. I think it was April maybe the last time I was here.
Yeah.
And I have to say, both of you, fantastic. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. Because I see your posts on Facebook, Larry, and I do keep in touch, and I see what's going on. But being in person with you guys, really, fantastic. Good for you.
Good. Well, thank you. So it's funny because I think of you every time I go grocery shopping, because more and more labels now are promoting themselves as being non-GMO. Mm-hmm. It seems to be something that's taking flight.
It is. And you know what? It's been a lot of hard work from a lot of people in the industry. And I credit a lot of it to Food Democracy Now! It's an organization, a charitable organization that has really, they put it on the map. They started with Prop 37 back in California in 2012 and put the ballot initiative on the map. And since then, people now when you ask someone what a GMO is, it's not like a blank stare.
Well, but for those who, I was going to say, but for those who don't know, because what generally, I think the average person knows at least non-GMO is what you want.
Right.
But what is GMO?
Right. So a GMO, or something that's genetically modified, is when you take the DNA from one thing, like a bacteria or virus, and you splice it with the DNA of something else, let's say like a food.
Right.
So we're going to use, let's say, glyphosate or Roundup, for example. So companies take Roundup and they splice it into soy or corn, which the majority of the crops in the U.S. are genetically engineered. And what it does is when the farmers, they spray glyphosate or Roundup on their crop won't die. Okay. So it's resistant to this actual pesticide.
Okay.
So what's happening is that, there's a whole argument, and I was hoping Lisa was coming in today from Food Democracy Now!, but you should absolutely have her on our show, because she's super political, and her and her partner Dave are really the ones that, are in this fight, along with, so many other organizations trying to get GMOs on the map. Okay. And, Jeffrey Smith from Genetic Roulette, and, to name just a few. And I think, like you said, people know that they should stay away from GMOs because they probably have heard that, it's not so good for me. And, what is the research out there? And there is a lot of research out there linking it to a lot of illnesses and chronic diseases. So, there's both sides, and you'll hear one side say it's perfectly safe. And then the other side's like, well, no, it's not perfectly safe, and it hasn't been studied enough, and we need a lot more human trials. So at the end of the day, I always err on that side of caution of, if there's a possibility that something's bad for me, why would I ingest it anyway? Because there are so many better alternatives.
Right.
And, the CEO of Whole Foods said that when a product, and the reason why a lot of companies, like you said, are writing non-GMO on the front of their package is because the CEO of Whole Foods said that he was seeing an increase of about 30% in sales from products that had that non-GMO label on their package.
Well, yeah, it's become a new marketing scheme, because you'll even see restaurant chains like Chipotle aggressively market themselves as a non-GMO restaurant.
Yeah, it's really the biggest thing since the whole green movement. I haven't seen something this big and it has gained this much traction in a very short amount of time too. That has been since the 90s.
So is this something that is, can this be co-opted into something negative?
What do you mean exactly?
Well, I think that there have been, in the whole grain movement, there have been people who have used it for ill, and they'll say things. They'll find a way to kind of water it down, but still try to link onto the
Right.
goodness of the term.
Kind of like writing gluten-free on something that would never be gluten-free to begin
Right.
with. It's funny because I have seen, some produce. So my husband, Rich, is in produce, and he's brought me home some packages that will say, have the non-GMO verified label on it, but the produce would never be GMO in the first place. There's only a handful of produce that is genetically engineered. So, I mean, yeah, sure. There's always the, we call it the gene washing, not the green washing, but the gene washing,
Right.
GENE washing,
Right.
because it's, so we call it the gene washing, companies that are gene washing. And yeah, a great example, my son and I were shopping a couple of years ago, and I teach my kids as much as I can, and I try to buy non-GMO as much as I can. And he was shopping, and he went to do his thing. He came back, and he was like, "Mommy, can we buy this product? It's non-GMO. Look, there's a big circle on the front with a line through it. It says no GMOs." And I was like, "Oh, good, honey. Let me take a look." So I turned it over, and it was kind of what was a red flag to me is that it said no GMOs. It didn't have an actual seal on it, which is the non-GMO verified seal, which we can talk about in a minute.
Right.
But it just said no GMOs, grains and potatoes or something, and sweet potatoes. And I was like, well, those aren't really GMO anyways.
Right.
So when you turn it over, it had other ingredients in it, like canola oil, which is absolutely GMO, or in most cases, unless it's organic, right? So yes, there are companies
So
that are
it's
trying to
already
capitalize
happening.
it. Yes, it is, and it's it's unfortunately it's not a ton. But, definitely it grabs people's attention. And as a consumer, again, it's one of those things that companies sometimes, try to confuse us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, yes, we, should be looking for, it's called the non-GMO verified seal. And I'm just going to see here if I can find you a product that has it on it.
I think we
So here we
both-
go.
Yeah.
So here, the non-GMO verified seal. So it looks like it has a little butterfly on it.
Right, it has a little butterfly on it, and it's a white writing on a blue background. It's the same on every label.
Yeah, it's the same. So a couple things to note. So if a product has this seal, then it means it's gone through the non-GMO project and they've tested it. So they're pretty rigorous. It has to have 0.9% less, 0.9% or less GMOs in it. So it's a standard, put it that way. So this organization now has this standard to provide people with this seal that guarantees you that it's free from GMOs.
Okay.
But if a product is organic, it's automatically non-GMO. So even if a product, so let's say, for example, here, so you look, I have Uncle Matt's organic. They have a new orange juice that came out, their orange turmeric. Mm-hmm. And you could see it says USDA organic on the seal, but there isn't the non-GMO verified seal on it.
Because it's not necessary.
Correct. So that's really important to note is that if you're buying a product that has that USDA organic seal or any organic seal on it, it's automatically non-GMO.
That's very helpful. Because I didn't know that.
And a lot of people don't, and that's why it's so important that we educate people, and you don't always have to look. So obviously organic is the gold standard, and we want because even if a product is non-GMO, it doesn't mean it's organic. But if a product is organic, it's automatically non-GMO.
Now that's something that's very, very important, because I think most people will see the non-GMO verified marking and think this is organic.
And it's not.
They'll just like we see something that's fat-free and we think we can eat a lot of it.
Exactly.
Because it makes it automatically dietetic food.
Right.
But it's not. It just means that there's no fat in it.
That's right. So if you're trying to avoid GMOs, obviously the seal is a great way to go.
Right.
If you're trying to avoid GMOs along with pesticides, herbicides, no irradiation, no sewer sludge, that's obviously organic, right?
And the other thing to keep in mind is when you do see things that say free of something like fat or sugar, you need to read the label, because if it's free of those things, then it is filled with things that have words that you can't even pronounce.
And if especially the sugar-free, it's going to be filled probably with aspartame,
Right.
asulfame potassium.
Right.
These are artificial sweeteners that we know now are leading to the FDA. Aspartame is the most complained about, I think, next to MSG, so monosodium glutamate additive in our food today.
Right.
So there are so many negative side effects of these chemicals. Again, you'll have people that'll say they're perfectly safe. I'm from the camp of, with so many complaints, try something else, because there's
here's
so many
the
better
thing.
alternatives.
I just remember, to me, the most damning thing was when Dannon made sugar-free yogurt with aspartame, and then they just completely pulled the line. They yanked the entire line. And
probably because of consumer complaints.
Right, and they were probably, and that was probably millions of dollars in loss.
Yeah.
Because certainly someone like me who has to eat sugar-free largely, or as low a sugar diet as possible, I'm thinking, oh, sugar-free Dannon yogurt. It's a well-known brand. It's a trusted brand. It must not have any, you're thinking it's a trusted brand. Even if there are chemicals in it, they're not the bad chemicals, right? You'll tell yourself that. If, I notice if they pull it off and there are millions of dollars at stake, because I'm spending a lot of money, which means a lot of other people are spending money, then that's something to take seriously.
It is. And especially when it comes to the chemical sweeteners, there are so many better options, right? So for example, like have I ever brought you xylitol?
Yeah.
So Zyla, the brand xylitol is one of the, I mean, it definitely is. It tastes amazing, but there are quite a few companies that make xylitol, but Zyla is one of my favorite. Now Foods also has a xylitol. They also have stevia. There's monk fruit now, which is another big one, right?
Yeah.
So there are other alternatives, erythritol. So you don't need to necessarily, especially if you're adding it to coffee or tea or you're baking with it. I mean, Zyla in particular, you can actually, it's a 1-to-1 for baking, and it tastes 1-to-1 for sugar. So it tastes like sugar. It has 40% less calories, and it won't spike your insulin. So it's super safe for diabetics. And the same with stevia, and the same with, erythritol and, some of these other alternative sweeteners. And companies are seeing a big decrease in sales. Consumers, what's so beautiful from when I first started on this show, Larry, like how many years ago? Like so many years ago when I came in here, and to where we are today, consumers want to know what's in their food. Consumers, we've had enough. We've had enough of being fed, these foods that aren't good for us, and we don't have much choice. Today, we have a lot more choice, luckily, and we know a lot more. So we're demanding, take out the additives from our food. Take out the artificial sweeteners. We don't want them. Give us real food.
Not that difficult. That's Andrea Donsky from naturallysavvy.com. We're going to continue chatting with her here on The Jolt. That is the current single by the band Years and Years from the album Communion. That song is called Shine. 20 past the hour. It's Wednesday morning, October 7th. You're listening to the Jolt, SiriusXM LQ. Our toll-free number is 866-305-6887. Should you have any questions for our visitor, Andrea Donsky of naturallysavvy.com, you can hit us up. So now you have been visiting a lot of shows, haven't you?
I have. I've been very busy traveling. I was in Baltimore at the beginning of September, and then in Toronto, there was this Canadian Health Food Association. So there was Expo East in Baltimore, and then the Canadian Health Food Association show in Toronto, it's always a very busy time of the year in the fall. Everybody seems to have the shows at the same time. So which is great. I mean, there's Expo West in March, which is also a really big show for the organic and natural and organic industry. And what I love going to these shows for is because I love to see what's going on in our industry and what are the trends that are happening in health. And it was nice to see because some of the old trends are still here, but companies are finding new ways to use them. So for example, coconuts. I mean, I love coconuts. I'm crazy for coconuts.
Yeah, and they're very good for you.
So good for you. It's got the medium chain triglycerides, the MCTs, and it helps burn fat. It's a great metabolism booster. I mean, great to cook with it. It's great. Now they're doing research for coconut oil on our brain. So, for Alzheimer's. So, I mean, coconut oil is terrific. And I think I've brought you guys Barleans before. So Barleans makes an amazing coconut oil. They just launched a coconut oil that for culinary with no smell. So if you're the type of person that doesn't like coconuts or the smell of coconuts, they now have a coconut oil without any smell or taste.
And they're even selling, I noticed, I saw even in the shop, right, they sell supplements, coconut oil supplements.
Right,
now.
so it's as a thermogenic, so it increases your metabolism. But the funny thing about it now is that I go to this show and they have coconut chips. So they've always had coconut chips plain, but now there's coconut chips with sriracha, and there's coconut chips with chocolate, and there's coconut. I mean, you name it, the flavor. I mean, they had coconut shampoo, and they had coconut body lotion and soap. I mean, literally coconut. They found a use for coconut and everything. There's probably coconut douche for all I know. I mean, I mean, there was so much coconut in everything.
That's a lot of coconut.
It was funny. So
She's
definitely,
getting so racy.
I know. I just
She
keep hearing
then.
on I Love Lucy when Lucy Ball called it coconut. The coconut. But anyway, wow.
So
wow,
there's
wow.
a lot of coconut.
So that's the trend.
That's one of the trends for sure. Coconut water and, definitely.
I don't like the coconut water.
Oh, really?
I tried
love
it. It made me yak a little bit.
What flavor did you take? You know what?
It was just regular plain coconut water.
There's a very yummy coconut water. It's called Harmless Harvest. They have it at Whole Foods. I bought it yesterday. You really have to try the right brand.
Yeah.
Very important.
Right.
So Harmless Harvest is one that my friend just told me about, and it's really yummy. They make it with young coconnuts. It's delicious. So I'll bring you one next time. I'll pick one up from Whole Foods from next time I come.
I'll try it next time. I'll try it. Yeah.
Uncle Matt's just launched an orange coconut orange juice.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah. So I brought you some of that. You could try with probiotics inside too, which is always important for our immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the next trend was turmeric. So many products had turmeric. So turmeric is amazing. So it's anti-inflammatory. Curcumin, which is the active ingredient in turmeric, is really good for us, and especially when it comes to reducing inflammation in the body. Are you taking any type of turmeric
Not right
or anything?
now, no.
So, you can take turmeric. You can actually take their supplements that have turmeric or curcumin in it. And Uncle Matt's also launched an orange juice with turmeric in it. So that was one example of a company that launched a product with turmeric in it. But there was turmeric in so many different products that you could take.
Turmeric is a spice, right?
It's a spice. And Gaia Herbs launched a turmeric boost, which is a drink that you put. It's like a powder that you put it into.
I'm gonna have a taste of this just because I'm curious.
It's really, really yummy. So
we can get it open. Oh my God!
Gotta go to the gym.
It's like, you know what? It's like glued shut.
It's probably because they shipped it. So
all right. Well, we'll deal with that later.
We'll do it after. Yeah. So turmeric was another a really big trend, which was really nice to see. So those were, I'd say, the two big ones for sure. And then gluten free, of course, non-GMO, of course, organic, of course, were other big trends that were.
But I think people, and I think I have to say that I'm guilty of this as well. Sometimes I get confused by the whole gluten-free movement.
Oh.
I do, because it's like, okay, so does that mean it is pulling the starch out of food, What is that?
So gluten is a protein found in wheat.
Okay.
So basically what it is they're making products. So certain foods are naturally gluten-free, like rice is naturally gluten-free, or quinoa, which is, you probably heard of quinoa, or millet. So these are gluten-free grains. They have other types of gluten, like rice has a rice gluten, but it's not what's been problematic.
So does that mean that does that have anything to do with the starch content of wheat?
No. So, I mean, in terms of the starch content, no, because it's a protein. It's a protein. So basically they remove that protein. So then the product becomes gluten-free. So if you're gluten-free and you're trying to avoid gluten. Now, the reason people try to avoid gluten is because it causes certain issues, right? So people who are celiac, they have to avoid gluten because it really doesn't, it is harmful for their body.
But don't you need gluten?
No.
You don't need gluten?
Absolutely not. No.
So why do people go gluten-free as a weight loss?
Well, the interesting thing is, so for me, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Okay.
So I'm gluten intolerant. I don't have celiac, but my body just doesn't like gluten. Okay. And when I eat it, it gives me really bad stomach aches. It bloats me. And, now I've been avoiding it for so long that if I do eat it, I actually get really bad stomach aches. Like and I can't sleep and it's awful. But there are certain people that gluten will affect them, not so much digestive wise, but it'll affect their brain. It'll give them a lot of anxiety. It'll change their mood because there's that gut brain connection. So, basically people avoid it because of the digestive issues. So for me, when I was pregnant with my first two, so I have 3 kids, Zach is 12 now, Casey's 10, and Abby's 4. Oh my gosh. And when I was pregnant with Zach and Casey, the older ones, I ate gluten, I ate dairy, I kind of ate like I normally ate, and I gained quite a bit of weight with them. So when I was pregnant with Abby, I didn't eat gluten or dairy at that point, and I gained very little weight. So, it's a lot easier on my diet. I mean, again, I'm going to talk me. It's a lot easier on my digestive system, and it allows my body to do what it needs to do. There's no interruptions. It's not causing any type of irritable bowel.
It doesn't like hang out in your body.
Right. And my body doesn't like it. So if your body's not going to like it, it's going to work so hard to try and get rid of what it doesn't like that it's not working on digestion. It's not working. Everything's not working the way it's supposed to work.
Got it.
So that's why I think it's become trendy to go gluten-free, but I think the truth is that most people probably can't tolerate gluten.
And I think that's the part that's confusing to a lot of people. And I will confess, a bit confusing to me, because I'll hear people say, well, I've lost all this weight. Really? How'd you do that? Well, certain exercise? No, I just went gluten-free. And I'm thinking, but what does that mean when people say I'm losing weight? Because you don't, the implication is that there's some sort of dietary, what you say makes perfect sense, but that's not really the way it's being, again, marketed. So many of the things we're talking about, there's the truth, and then there's the way it's being sold to us. And if you go to the supermarket, there's a gluten-free section, and it's designed by whoever is racking these things to look like it's dietetic, just like fat-free food is meant to look dietetic,
which is wrong on the part.
And the fact is, what you're describing is a health issue as opposed to a dietetic issue.
Exactly. And for me, it's definitely a health issue. My body just doesn't like it. And I'm not going to eat it because I know my body doesn't like it. Right. So, and I think the issue with the weight loss thing and why people do it is because gluten will bloat you. So if you're not eating gluten, then you don't have that bloat, which doesn't make you look 3 months pregnant, right? So I guess maybe they're thinking that
it makes your clothes fit better.
It makes your clothes fit better. Exactly. Right. So, and there are a lot of great.
So it's a little bit of an illusion then.
I mean,
in terms of the weight loss.
I mean, it is true in the sense that, if your body's functioning optimally, then it's going to do what it needs to do and you won't put on weight. Right. But I think for them to market it as a weight loss product, I think that's
right. Because,
not right.
Because if you talk about something like coconut oil, which does have an effect on your metabolism, gluten doesn't appear to have an effect on your metabolism. It's just the way it moves through your body, which is different.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's very different. Yeah. And there are a lot of great gluten-free brands out there. I mean, and at one time, again, years ago, we didn't have the options we have today. Today, there are so many options for gluten-free. I mean, I live gluten-free and dairy-free, and I never feel like I'm lacking anything. I mean, obviously, maybe a good piece of pizza, for sure. That's a thing I miss. I miss my dairy too. But, at the end of the day.
You're dairy-free as well.
I'm dairy-free as well. Yeah, for many years now. Yeah,
because I've been inching closer to being dairy-free, but not 100% yet.
Yeah, no, I've been for many years because, again, and that's something that I've had issues with since I'm a little kid. I remember sitting at the table with my parents, my mom making food that had, let's say, cheese in it. And then afterwards I would be like, oh, I have a stomach ache. And back then, my parents didn't know about food allergies. We don't know about it like we know about today, or food sensitivities or food intolerances. There's so many different names for it. And it was because I couldn't tolerate dairy. The lactose bothered me, or it could have been the protein, whatever it is. I don't even eat it. So yeah, it's the casein. So what's interesting is that we just have to listen to our bodies. At the end of the day, listen to your body. If you're getting gas or bloating, now that I eat gluten and dairy free, I don't get the gas and bloating I used to. I mean, I used to sit in bed in tears and look at my husband. I remember being engaged and I looked at my husband and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I don't even know what I'm going to do anymore. Like every time I eat, I got gas and bloating because I was eating wheat or I was eating things that my body just didn't like. Now, if I eat something, if I get gas and bloating, it's because I know I've somehow eaten gluten or dairy or something that just didn't do well for me.
Fascinating. That's Andrea Donsky joining us from naturallysavvy.com. Now, naturallysavvy.com is a place where you can go to get information on the world of organic products. And they don't advocate for their products. They advocate for the people who need the products, and they point you toward the right things and point out the wrong things that we're using.
Yeah, we've become very, the interesting thing over the years, we've become much pickier with the companies that we're working with, and we really want to work with companies that want to make a difference and that are making these healthier options. So I'm a huge advocate for, telling your listeners it's important that we support brands that are trying to make a difference. It's important that we support the smaller guys, and in some cases they're big, in some cases they're smaller guys, right? Like for example, I met this company. It's called Sound Sparkling Tea. I met this company in Baltimore. The owner's name is Salim. He's a local New York guy, and he started a company, and it's a sugar-free tea. It tastes really great, and what I want to tell people is, a lot of these companies make amazing products, but they need your support in terms of buying them and showing them your love. So I love to tell people that there are so many great brands out there.
It's always so interesting when you look at the ingredients list, and you can and it's smaller words than you're used to seeing, and you can pronounce them. You actually know what they are.
Right? Isn't that amazing? You can actually pronounce everything you're putting in your body.
It's like sparkling water, tea, hibiscus, peach. That's it. Have a sip.
Isn't that great? Sound. And it's a great name. It's called Sound.
Yeah, good luck. And the organic industry has learned how to package their products because it was like the land of brown.
They're beautiful
for a long
now.
Time, yeah.
Like look at this from Barbara's. They're puffins. Like how cute is that?
I've had the puffins.
They're so good.
The puffins are good from Barbara's.
They're low sugar, which I know that is good for you and important for you.
There's actually my favorite is the chocolate peanut butter puffins.
Oh, I know those. Yes, those are ridiculously good.
Those are really good. You can actually just eat them like a snack.
Oh, they're so good.
They're really good.
They're delicious.
And they're very, very low sugar.
They are. And they also, Barbara's just launched Better Granola. There's 7 grams of sugar per serving.
Let me see this. I love
it's
granola.
10 grams of protein, which again, really important in the morning when we wake up. You want to start your day with a protein because it wakes up your brain, and it's also going to balance your blood sugar so that you don't reach for sugary snacks throughout the day. So anything that has protein, if you want to start off with a really good protein shake that has, let's say some type of pea protein or some type of whey protein. And then you also, want to start out your day with a cereal that has high protein. It's really important that you get that protein in right off the bat.
Nice. This looks good because I generally avoid all things granola because they tend to be too high in fat and too sugary. Like for example, I won't eat granola bars because to me, they're like candy bars.
Yep. So
and I might as well just have a Snicker bar and be happier.
Yeah. So they launched their new product.
This looks good though.
And there are a lot of great bars. Like Nature's Path launched their Kia bars, which are lower in sugar. They're organic and they're a really good kind of on-the-go convenience snack. Yep, they're a newer product.
Where do okay? So here's what she's gonna tell me. I've been eating the wrong thing. Where do Kind bars land? Are Kind bars the devil?
No,
they are,
aren't
they?
No, they're not.
She just made a face.
No, I didn't. Oh my gosh, no. First of all, I don't. I'd have to look at the. I'm not a. I have to look at their label to see how much sugar is in there and what the ingredients. If you have one,
let me see what I have.
Pass one over to me because I'm not that familiar with Kind bars. So I mean, I've heard of them and I know people love them, but I haven't really read the label. So,
this one? No, this has.
But I know they're good. I mean, they're clean.
They're clean, yeah. Here. Yeah, this actually has more sugar than I usually have.
So for me, it's all about the clean, like no additives, no chemicals in their food, right? So that's really
it looks all right to me,
important.
but I'm gonna Go see if it passes the Andrea Donsky Naturally Savvy test.
Oh, it's so here, hold on. So let me just look really quickly. So it says all natural, non-GMO on the front, so that's good.
Yeah, but see, now I don't believe people when they say, now if it says non-GMO, I'm going to be like, yeah, well, what else you got for me?
Well, this says non-GMO. It doesn't say non-GMO grains. Well, that's good. So if it says non-GMO, then we're assuming it's the whole package.
Right,
but I
okay.
would like to see the non-GMO verified seal on it, because then
Yeah.
I would know the whole product is
Right.
non-GMO. Or I'd like to
Okay.
see organic, because it's not organic.
Right.
But I mean, it's, it's almonds,
Strike
coconut.
one, strike two.
Okay, so this is interesting. Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up, Larry. So I'm reading the ingredients.
Just throw it away after she leaves.
And I'm reading the ingredients, and I see almonds, coconut, honey, non-GMO glucose, crisp rice, chicory root fiber, and soy lecithin. Now, soy is genetically engineered. Most soy is genetically engineered. So my question to Kind Bar, or to Kind, the company, is you write all natural, non-GMO on the front, but then in the ingredients, you only specify non-GMO glucose. Why is the soy lecithin non-GMO? So this is where it gets confusing.
Okay.
So, and that's why, companies, that's why going for the seal is really the best way. And a lot of companies are in the midst of getting that seal because it could take a little bit of time. But I have a question for Kind. Is the soy lecithin in this product non-GMO? And why would you specify just the glucose and not the soy lecithin too? Sorry, Larry. That would be my question, right?
It's garbage.
Threw it over my shoulder.
But that's why it's important to know.
$2 I'll never get back. Go on. Not even cheap.
Go for Kia. Buy the Nature's Path Kia bars.
Right.
They're organic and they're very similar. And they have pumpkin and they have flax and they have
I've never
really
seen them.
good-
They must have them in those places that are not in ShopRite.
No, maybe. Although the great thing about Nature's Path is they're sold in a lot of different
Nature's
places.
Path,
Yeah.
I see everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're sold
I'll
in a
look
lot
for
of.
them.
It's a newer product, so it could be that it hasn't hit ShopRite yet. But I know for sure
All the
Whole
ghetto
Foods will have
mothers
it.
haven't figured out that they're good for them.
I'll ask Nature's Path to send you some bars.
All right. We're going to continue chatting with Andrea Donsky of naturallysavvy.com here on The Jolt.
You're listening to The Jolt with Larry Flick on SiriusXM OutQ.
Hi, I'm Joe Madison. On my show, we're always tackling the big issues that affect our community. And one that is truly hurting our kids is the school-to-prison pipeline. Join me with U.S. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan and Chief Judges as we get to the root of the problem that starts in the classroom and ends in a cell block. An American Conversation. School to Prison Pipeline. Friday at 7 a.m. East. Urban View, SiriusXM 126. Or stream through the new and improved SiriusXM app.
Are you putting your money into an IRA, pension, or 401k? Then I hope you're prepared to lose 30, 40, 50% or more of your retirement savings. Because it's not a question of if the market crashes again. It's a question of when. It's going to happen. Did you know there is a way you can protect and grow your wealth safely and predictably every single year? The people using this approach didn't lose a penny when the market crashed in 2000 or 2008, and they won't lose a penny in the next crash. In fact, their money will continue to grow safely year in and year out, even when stocks, real estate, and other investments tumble. A free report detailing this savings program is now available. This free report shows how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your retirement in the Wall Street casino. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement. It far outperforms any IRA or 401k. To get this free report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com. Bankonyourself.com.
Do you use a CPAP device for sleep apnea? Are you tired of dragging your bulky in-home device everywhere you travel? Then you need to know about Transcend, the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It lets you sleep in total comfort anywhere you go. And right now, you can try it risk-free for 10 days by calling 1-800-957-9468. Transcend from minicpap.com is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can sleep comfortably even while flying. Transcend is our smallest, lightest, and most portable mini CPAP design ever, offering all the performance of a bulky standard in-home device. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day in-home trial. 1-800-957-9468. Again, that's 1-800-957-9468.
A supermodel, singer, record producer, a Bond girl, of course, a super diva.
Beyond the expectation.
The incomparable Grace Jones will take over Studio 54 Radio, playing her favorite classic dance music, talking candidly about her wild times at the original Studio 54, and discussing her new book, I'll Never Write My Memoirs. The Grace Jones Takeover Weekend begins Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific, exclusively on Studio 54 Radio, Channel 54, and streaming on the new and improved SiriusXM app.
This is The Jolt with Larry Flick on SiriusXM OutQ.
Shut it up, just shut up, shut up. We try to take it slow, but we're still losing control. And we try to make it work, but it still ends up the worst. And I'm crazy. But should I be your lady? I think I'm going crazy.
Girl, me and you was just fine. You know, we wine and dine. Did them things that couples do when in love. You know, walked on the beach and stuff. You know, things that lovers say and do. I love you, boo. I love you too. I miss you a lot. I miss you even more. That's why I flew you out when we was on tour. But then something got out of hand. You start yelling when I was boyfriend, even though I had legitimate reasons. You know I have to make them dividends. How could you trust with private eyes, girl? That's why you don't believe my lies and quick to say, shut up, just shut up, shut up, shut it up, just shut up, shut up.
We try to take it slow, but we're still losing control. And we try to make it work, but it still ends up the worst. And I'm crazy. Should I be your lady? I think I'm going
you gotta move so fast. Love is progress if you can make it last. Why is it that you just lose control every time you agree on taking it slow? Why does it have to be so damn tough? Cause fools and lust could never get enough of love. Showing the love that you be giving, changing up your living for a loving transition. So listen, trying to get you to listen. Humanity, each other has become our tradition. You yell, I yell, everybody yells. Got neighbors across the street saying, who the hell, what the hell is going down? Too much of the bickering, kill it with the sound and
There's Kylie Minogue mashed with the Black Eyed Peas. That is the handiwork of DJ Bill Bennett. Good stuff. 14 before the hour on this Wednesday morning, October 7th. You're listening to The Jolt on SiriusXM LQ. I'm Larry Flick. Still ahead this morning, we're going to be joined by Maura Tierney, talking about the addictive Showtime program, The Affair, and Jenna Wolf of Today Show Radio will be stopping by. We're spending time this hour with our beloved Andrea Donsky of NaturallySavvy.com. We encourage you to check out NaturallySavvy.com to learn about the folks who are doing well to bring things to you that are healthy and organic. And I'm not only talking about food, and for the folks who are maybe not. So we've been going through some of the trends in the organic natural movement with Andrea, because you've been to a number of the conferences where people talk about these things. And is there any other area that we've yet to cover that we want to make sure we tell people about?
Yes, definitely. Well, just to cover the gluten-free, we were talking about gluten-free before. A couple of good brands that I brought you guys to try today is Blue Diamond. They have their nut thins.
We love Blue Diamond.
So they have their nut thins here, and the puffins, the Barbara's puffins, are gluten-free.
Barbara's is also a very, very reliable brand.
And Sanjay has, they do tamari and Asian cooking sauces, and they have little mini organic tamari packages. So if you're gluten-free and you want to go eat sushi, you could take, or even, add some flavor to your food. They have these little gluten-free packages. I carry them in my purse. They're awesome. And you could take them with you to flavor your food. Yeah, so it's great. So it's like a little soy sauce package, but it's tamari, so it's not soy sauce.
That's really good. And I've been on a mad sushi kick lately, so this is really good.
Well, because a lot of the soy sauces at the restaurants can contain MSG, or monosodium glutamate. So Sanjay has no MSG. It's also non-GMO verified, which is amazing.
Wow.
And it's a really good quality product. So I
that's
bought you guys
neat,
some
because
to have.
it's funny too. Also, when you finally clean up your diet, and then you fall off the rails, or maybe you accidentally eat something that's not organic, you really learn the difference very quickly.
Totally.
And it usually results in either feeling sick, or you feel like you can't get enough water. Mm-hmm. Right? You ever get, like, when I find that when I'm exposed,
especially MSG.
Yeah, MSG or aspartame. I find that when I'm exposed to aspartame, my mouth gets so dry I can't drink enough water.
Wow,
it's weird.
It's your body trying to flush it out.
Yeah, very interesting.
So, and then there's probiotics, which is always in fashion because probiotics is super important for our immunity. 70 to 80% of our immune system lies in our gut.
Yeah.
It's in our colon. So BioK has a great probiotic, and they have a vegan probiotic, they have a soy-based, or they just have a regular dairy probiotic, and it's been studied. So what I love about BioK is that it's researched. It's a research product. And they did research that showed that it helped with C. difficile. So very important.
Didn't we have someone from BioK up here a couple of years ago? I think we did.
We might have. Oh, Mitch might have been on with us. Maybe, yeah.
I think you brought someone from BioK up. I remember thinking that this was very familiar, and I really And I look for BioK now.
So, and it has 50 billion CFUs, which is colony-forming units. So very important when you buy a probiotic, you want to make sure that it has some good research behind it, but also it has a pretty good dosage. So that's a 50 billion, which is amazing.
Wonderful.
And, one of the things, definitely another trend that was at the shows were natural cosmetics. So companies now, food is obviously very important, and we'll come back. I'll mention a couple more brands, but also now cosmetics. So what kind of makeup are you wearing, and how are you removing your makeup? Nail polish. What's in your nail polish, right? So we know ingredients like formaldehyde releasing preservatives or dibutyl phthalate. These are ingredients that are disrupting hormones.
Oh my!
So toluene, these are ingredients that are in nail polish, or they're also BHT, which is a preservative, BHA or BHT. It's a preservative that's been linked to kidney and liver damage, but also they know that the World Health Organization says that BHA is a possible carcinogen. So these are things that companies are using because they need to preserve their products. But again, there's all the better options out there. So there are a lot of new companies, makeup companies that are not using them. And Nature Care launched a new cosmetic wipe. So it's an organic Cosmos certified organic wipe, so makeup remover wipe. So if you're applying all your makeup, you can actually take it off now with this organic wipe. And a lot of people have sensitivities, like it causes rashes. I've heard from so many people that they'll use, let's say, a makeup wipe, and then they end up with rashes around their eyes.
I've heard that too.
So the nice thing about Nature Care is you'll never have any of that.
All
and
right.
they're very much about the environment, and they're all about organic, and they do feminine hygiene products too, which is very interesting because we just did a Twitter party with Congresswoman Carol Maloney of New York, and she's trying to she's trying to get some research done with the National Institute of Health on feminine hygiene products, and because they're saying that could be linked to certain types of cancers. So she put a bill she basically tried to pass a bill 9 times and it got denied, and she's trying again, and we're trying to help her get this done because get it passed, because companies that make feminine hygiene products don't have to disclose their ingredients, because tampons and pads fall under medical devices.
Ooh.
Right? Is that not crazy?
That's creepy.
So
is
please,
what that
if
is.
you're listening and you're a woman, a man, it doesn't matter, because we have a petition on change.org asking Procter & Gamble to disclose their ingredients. You can go to Congresswoman Maloney's website, help her, because we need to support her. She's doing such good work.
Wow.
And we're doing a lot of great work with her. So that's great. And a couple other things. Larry, you're taking your fish oil?
Yes, I am.
Keith, you taking your fish oil?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good, because I have some Nordic fish oil Nordic
good.
Naturals. I brought you guys some fish oil from Nordic Naturals.
Love it.
Very important.
Yeah.
And also your vitamin D.
Yep.
You guys taking vitamin D? Carlson gave us some super D3 to pass on to you guys, to gift you, and making sure that you're having your optimal levels, because we're so deficient in vitamin D. So really, really important. And the great thing about vitamin D, if you go to Naturally Savvy and you search vitamin D, we have so many articles on it. So you want to make sure that your levels are in proper range, because it can prevent up to 50%. So according to Cedric Garland, he's a doctor, 50% of all cancers if your vitamin D levels are optimal.
Wow.
You need to have your vitamin D levels optimal. So please, please, please. And if you're going gluten-free, I do recommend taking some type of fiber, because a lot of the gluten-free grains don't have fiber in it. So Nature's Flavors has a psyllium. It's called Naturelax. They have a fiber that you can add to your diet. So make sure that you're going to the bathroom regularly. Very important. And Surf Sweets, I think we've talked about them before. They have amazing candies with no color. So if you have children, or even if you're big children like me, and you want some candy, jelly beans, gummy bears, they're amazing. So they have organic candies that are made just with natural colors, organic colors and flavors. So nothing artificial in any of their stuff.
No yellow number 7 or anything like that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. No yellow number 5, no number 25. Exactly. We'll just make them up.
My goodness.
They're amazing. And now with Halloween coming up in a few weeks, Surf Sweets has a line of candy. They have like spooky spiders and really, really cute Halloween themed candy and gummy bears. So really highly recommend them. Bigelow, they're local, and they make amazing teas. They just came out with their holiday flavors. So they're pumpkin spice, their salted caramel, and their apple cider.
Bigelow's a good brand.
Very good brand. We work with them. I love them. Amazing. Cindy Bigelow, she should come on your show. She is so amazing. And she basically, it's incredible to me. See, I'm so passionate about what I do. Cindy Bigelow is so passionate about tea. She will teach you everything you need to know about tea. And I'm a tea lover. So I don't drink so much coffee, once in a blue moon, but I'm a tea lover. I've learned so much from her for just about tea. It's pretty interesting. And Nature's Flavors. So Bill Sabo. His nickname is the Flavor Guy. So he makes a line of natural flavors and colors that don't have any, obviously, artificial stuff in it. And they also have, they do gourmet coffee. They have here's some flavors. You could see they have their actual flavors. This is vanilla. Mm-hmm. Also, a really interesting guy. He taught me pretty much everything I know about art, like natural and organic colors and flavors. So he's really interesting. They have some really great products. And they also came out with a new soda called Birdie and Bills, which I'm going to get you guys some samples too. So it's a diet soda. I'm going to use the word diet for those of you who are listening, it can just resonate with you with what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But it's a diet soda. So instead of drinking a Diet Coke or a Diet Pepsi that has the artificial stuff in it, Birdie and Bills, it tastes pretty much the same, but they use stevia and erythritol to sweeten it. So no chemicals, and it tastes yummy, and no calories. So it's really, really amazing. So really awesome stuff. And then again, we're approaching winter. Make sure that you are keeping your immune system in check. Take your BioK, your probiotics, but also North American Urban Spice has an oregano oil that you guys can take. So it's antiviral, antimicrobial. You could take, 10 drops under your tongue if you have a cold or you feel like you're getting a cold, and just take 2 or 3 under your tongue just for, the winter to kind of keep things in check. If you have children, because the oil's pretty potent, they also have capsules, but you could take some oil, put 5 drops in your hand and rub it on your children's feet, and then put on some socks, and it'll help it keep the vapors in. So it's pretty awesome.
Go figure.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So we have our arsenal of healthy products, right, to keep us healthy through, now that we're approaching, dreaded word, fall, winter.
I know. I like the fall, winter, so this is exciting, though. Well, the hour has flown by, as it always does, Andrea.
Always.
Always,
I know.
always.
Aww.
So Andrea Donsky will be checking in with us again very soon, we hope. And in the meantime, go to naturallysavvy.com to learn more. And she has a web show. How can people find the web radio show?
If you go to radiomd.com, so radio with just an md.com, and you just search all shows under Naturally Savvy, we have a live show every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. And Larry, we have to have him
I know,
on the
we
show.
have to make that happen. We're going to do that. We're going to make that
You
make sure
started
that
me
happens.
in radio, my love for radio, and I want to repay it.
Well, I can't wait to do it. But in the meantime, go to naturallysavvy.com. Stick around in our next hour. Maura Tierney and Jenna Wolf.
On the corner, I am waiting at the counter.